Okay, hey, training plants every day. Jordan School coming at you from the STEM lab. Now, we got a new one. I was able actually to finish my sleeper master lock here. So we're going to try to do a pick video of it. I'm going to take a few minutes, 5 minutes to explain you what's going on. We're going to take the back 15 to actually try and pick it before I cash in for the night. I go back to work tomorrow. So with that being said, what we got going on is this is a level 7 master M530 CD carbide Magnum series. Pretty good actually. I went and picked this one. It was a real hard pick. I couldn't get the other one, but this one was giving me a lot of feedback, and I felt like I was going to be able to pick it, and I wanted to sacrifice this one. And that is this was a 5-pinner, and what I did with her is to make my sleeper lock is this is the front side of my 6-pin core. But I love the keyway on that. It was a real super tight paracentric keyway, well, at least tighter than the keyway that was originally on this. So I cut it in half. I cut the first 4 pins off of it, and cut the back one off, and the half moon that was on the back of it, so I could get a tighter keyway. So it's a much tighter angle, and it's just a lot thinner as well. So what I had to do with it is I had to modify this key slightly. I had to file down the back of it a little bit, thin it down a little bit. I had to carve a sharper edge because this was more of a slant on it. Here it's nice and sharp on that other one. Here's the key. It was just really super sharp on that one there, in that little bottom groove. Here was more of a slope on this one. I'm probably not going to be able to see it worth a damn. And so I had to actually take my cutting wheel and do a little bit of grinding and cut that a little bit deeper so this key would actually work in that. But once I did, it fit like a glove, and of course it's still going to fit into the back 2 pins of the original 6-pin core. Now you'll see that this is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but a pin actually rests somewhere, not going to be a specific where, on that groove on that last little triangle down. It sets deep on there. We'll call it somewhere about the same ratio as 1 or 2. I had to do a little bit of modification to that pin, grind it down a little bit to make sure it fit really good. Then I worked that core a little bit, just dialing it in, shaping it, making sure they fit butt together really good, and that the driver pins or the Bible pins actually fell down into it. So I got all that gone. Of course, you have to cut the crimping off and use fishing line to get it, so you slide it back through so the drivers, so those pins, the spool pins in this don't fall down into it, or whatever kind of pins you're going to use. I just kept it stock right now. I figured that's going to be enough for right now. I need to break it in a little bit better, do some key work. She's still a little tight, but she still works, and she is a valid lock. So one of these days I'm actually going to take this apart for you, but I got to be able to pick it first. I made it. I got to take it apart. So before I go ahead and do that, yeah, there she goes. Now she's catching. I got one of them driver pins down in there. But she will work. And for a challenge lock, this thing is going to be gnarly. Tight keyway, 2 core, spool pins, and I doubled every spring. There's double steel springs from 6, 5, and 4, and double copper springs 3, 2, and 1. Because I want them pins to drop. In combination with a few things. So almost run out of time here. Get this show on the road, I guess. Go. I'm going to try this one. So the idea with this, oh yeah, baby, nice. Alright, so we did get one, or at least I maybe overset it, but there's two. Got a nice little feel on it. I haven't even tried this core yet. Might have had three. She's tight. She is tight in that keyway. And you're going to be even tighter when you go into the next one. So I'm on 4 right now. I'm trying to get in 5. And I have to undo it. There we go. To get through it because it's a 2-part core. Once you're in there though, you can feel it. She's all kinds of loose down in there. So we got 5 and 6 back there. I'll back off some tension. I think I'm in the back of the lock, yeah. So she was low. She shouldn't have need to come up too high. Come off of 5. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, baby. That's what I like to see in a challenge lock. I'm excited about this. I dropped 1 pin. That was a good click. Come on, baby. Look at this thing. I am like... That's why I put them double springs in there. Oh, but I dropped another one. There we go. I think I got it. There you go. I dropped one. That's what I liked. That's exactly what I wanted to have happen with this. Put a little tension on it, and trying to get that feel, pull off. As soon as you do, you're dropping pins. That's what exactly the reason I did this. And not to mention, there's tension on that core when you're trying to get the first part, but there is no tension whatsoever on that back core. Nothing. When you're picking that, you're also picking at an angle in the opposite direction that drops them driver pins. So if you did have tension on it, you're putting pressure in the direction that's immediately going to drop them off. And as soon as you come past that keyway, it's going to slip on you. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah, that's the sound I like to hear. Well, I don't like to hear it if I'm picking it. It's my job to do it, but that's the sound I like to hear when I'm picking picking my own challenge locks. Oh yeah, she pulls right out on you. That keyway grabs you right up. That was a nice click. You can get 1 pretty easy. I think I got 2. Come on, baby. Get on to 3. Oh, 3's giving me nothing whatsoever. I'm just getting right up in that. I just feel that whole spring on her. Come on, you're 4. Like we often do on Mythbusters, we try to remove variables so we can isolate what exactly we're seeing. I dropped 1. That means we're taking a single bullet, attaching it to a rod, and inserting that into. Oh yeah, this thing's a nightmare. All right. Do a quick test. Make sure. So key still works. That's good. I'm kind of excited. I'm trying not to be biased about it. I actually, if I could get a pick, I'm going to get a pick. So we're going to take my time on this run. We spent 5 minutes first run. Now we're going to just go real slow with her. That's warding. 1. Super light tension. Yeah, I already dropped 1. Back to 1. We'll try 1 again. Three just comes straight down. I don't got nothing. Go full tension on it and see if it goes down. Maybe I got it that time. But don't forget, that's not a guarantee. You got to get all the pins. You got to get the ones in the back. And that's the tricky bit. You can stay at this sumbitch all day. Pop them front ones, go to the back ones. As soon as you go through there, you might have, because there's tension on the front core, and that back core is in its original position locked by the pins, you're going to have to back off tension, counter rotate your pick to slide it through. Now, if your pick and your set are in there and you do manage some way to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 all in series with each other, which this is not giving it up, you might be able to turn all of it at once. With the spring tension that's on this core, you have to turn. You may not even realize that you're in it like that. Come back. As soon as you do, get caught, back off a little tension, and you're fucked. So this is the Sleeper Master. I'll be playing around with this one for a while. I don't want to over break it in, but I got to break it in a little bit to soften it up a little bit. She's a little catchy still. So, I'm excited. So, the game plan again is to send this one to locklab.com. Have them take a second look at those master locks, exactly what you can do with them and what is possible. So, one of these days I'm going to do a review and a teardown. I might even show what some of the tricks that I would do to improve the pinning. You don't have to cut a core in half. That's kind of high on the technical level. I don't have nothing fancy. A pair of channel locks and my rusty trusty Dremel I've had for years with a cutoff wheel. You can tell I beat the hell out of this thing though. And you can flush up that core if you got thin enough bits and they're channel locks and you're steady enough with your hands. You can groove them pins, you can make spools, you can make threadeds, or at least serrateds, T-pins. Threaded is a different game. You do kind of need a tap, a super small one. I think that's at least how they do it. I'm not 100% on that. But serrated is for sure in the wheelhouse. You might need to pick up a pack of these super thin ones, heavy and thin, for any kind of heavy duty cutting that you're doing on the crimp of the core. Fishing line or in that while you're working it, one in or pulling it out, putting it back in. You'll have to put in at least one additional spring in here unless you're going to keep it a 5-pinner and just leave that 1 pin. I wanted 2. You don't need to double up the springs when you're doing that, but you can if you at least have 1 sacrificial lock. The tighter keyway here, that's again something special just to this lock, the Sleeper. So I know you don't believe me. Could be just the regular lock and you think that I'm just picking at it and blowing smoke up your ass, but this thing's the real deal.